Welcome to the latest episode of Let's Talk About It Over Cocktails with Carly. I am your host, Miss Carly, baby. Tonight we have digital creator and HR professional. According to Aisha, you don't want to miss this. Welcome to the show.
Hey.
According to Aisha.
Hello.
Don't be shy. Give me some of that.
All right. Cheers.
How's your cocktail?
Nice. Very nice. Kind of late, but it's nice.
Okay, it is kind of late. So you guys, we have someone amazing on the couch tonight. Miss Aisha has quite the resume, if you will.
I'm a hybrid.
So a couple things. So I'm going to just kind of name a couple things that you're into, which is quite interesting. And then we're going to dig deep into the subject matter. But before then, you are a podcaster.
I'm a podcaster.
And a network owner.
And a network owner.
Yeah, so tell us a little about that.
Okay, so I relaunched my podcast. It's called Honest Tea with According to Aisha. It's on YouTube. The first episode is June 7th. Plug.
And ad, okay.
And I also just purchased a network on Roku called
Yay,
Plus TV.
I love that. Congratulations. We doing it.
We in the bag.
Oh, we in the bag.
We in the bag.
So, I love that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so also something interesting about you. You also work in corporate America, or have at some point. In the space of human resources. Hello, we got questions, okay? Yeah, we got a lot of questions.
Bring it. Okay,
so,
I'm ready.
So let's talk a little about your podcast and the direction, and then we'll jump into some of the other interesting things. How can I forget? You were also on reality TV.
Oh, yeah.
Hello.
How did we forget that?
Hello. Do you want to let everybody on each of these cameras know which
Yes.
show it was recently?
I forgot to, guys. Okay, so
She didn't forget.
Asking for a friend on
Yes.
TV1. I'm actually episode 1.
Yes, and that was my most favorite episode.
Mine too.
Yeah, really?
Yeah.
Figure that.
Wow.
So it was very interesting. I actually enjoyed the dynamics of you just keeping it completely poised and together. I didn't know who you would decide. I mean,
I didn't either.
I kind of had my thoughts, but I mean, I just didn't know.
Yeah.
You know, but
Can I ask a question, please?
Oh, hello, Trav in the back. Welcome to the show.
Did that work out for you?
Oh.
Well, let's just say that we're really cool.
So you guys are friends.
We are friends.
Do you guys hang out with the outside of the show? This is good because I really want to know all the
I know,
tea.
right? All the tea.
Teddy busted cheeks.
No!
Okay, no. Not with all this white on.
No,
Come
no,
on,
no,
Virgin
no.
Mary.
Goodness gracious.
So how was it dating? So did you guys date? Was it just a show thing? Like, what was it?
We did a little date. We did.
Okay.
We did a little date.
I think I saw some on your Instagram. It was nice. It was cute. It was like
cute.
it was a vibe.
He's a good look on the arm.
Yeah?
Yeah.
That's
he's
what
a
they
good look
say
on
on
the arm.
Facebook. So anyway, so tell me, what did you like the most about Teddy when you chose Teddy?
The complexion.
You like a little bit
I
of
like
chocolate.
brown. Yeah, I'm into
You like
the
to
chocolate.
kind of balance. Okay.
Twix.
Okay. So Teddy was a really nice guy, gentleman, all
Absolutely.
that fun stuff. And then you dated, or you chose Corey.
No,
Courtney.
I actually chose
Teddy.
Teddy over Courtney.
Right.
But Courtney was super cool.
Okay.
You know, Courtney smelled good, looked good.
Yeah, he had the little top hat, the little fedora.
No,
right?
no, that was not Courtney.
I just got it all wrong. I'm sorry, you guys. I do apologize. It's been a while. Okay.
That was actually Essence's date.
Okay.
But Courtney was the one with he had on a scarf. And
Okay.
he was playing the Connect Four with me.
Okay.
Really nice guy.
Yeah.
But he was the one that had never been married and didn't have any children.
Oh, and that's you don't like
Oh,
that.
no,
Yeah,
that's a
you
deal
did mention
breaker.
that. That was a deal breaker. You want someone that has at least had that part of their heart kind of massaged. Yeah. That's kind of like how men are like, I want a woman that's had a kid. Sometimes.
Yeah.
In these days.
Well, I think it just really just depends. But either way, I think that both guys were super cool.
Yeah.
I mean, I should have just took them both. Choo choo.
Ooh, hey, choo choo. I know that's okay.
Ma'am, don't say nothing like that.
Okay, so what made you? Oh, you in essence decided to do the show because you guys wanted to. Tell me, why did you guys decide to do the show?
Because Aisha was looking for a boyfriend.
I know that's right. In essence, was like, you know what, I got you.
Yeah, she was
is
like, okay,
wonderful.
well, why don't we just do this? I'm like, okay, I think, look,
like
I
that.
can't pick my own person, clearly.
Yeah, well, you can. It's just sometimes it's just the availability.
Yeah, I just needed a little bit of help.
Yeah.
So we agreed. It was fun.
Good. Okay, so let's talk about According to Aisha.
Oh, her. Yes, I love her so
Yes.
much.
So what is the emphasis and the thought behind According to Aisha? Because it's a very unique name.
It is. So I think it was conceived because I'm very opinionated. Like, in every situation, in every party, family conversation, it's always some Aisha-ism, right? I got something to say. I experienced probably everything. So it was kind of like, well, according to Aisha, this is,
I
like
like
so that's how it came up. And then I just decided that because I had such a vast amount of experience, that it just made sense for me to, have talk therapy about the different things that Aisha experienced from her perspective.
I like that.
And that's how she came up.
I like that. So you have I've seen you online. You have like a studio, which is really cute, by the way. And so you are actually are you going to host at your studio? Is it going to be just like Patreon, like what's your thought process, or a little bit of all?
So I think I'm building an airplane in the sky.
Yeah.
Meaning, it was fun to actually build the studio.
Yes.
So I have a landing place.
Yes.
But I also had the opportunity of doing like this on-site thing with a friend. I'm not going to say who she is. She's sitting right next to me. So I think I like the idea of going on location to interview people, to give a different vibe. So you might see us in the studio, or you might see me, I don't know, in somebody's backyard with some really nice incense.
Sounds like my shit.
So yeah.
I love that. Okay, so let's talk about do I want to talk about your dating first, or do I want to talk about HR?
Oh gosh, the dating is dreadful. Let's talk about sorrow.
So let's talk about dating. So okay, so you would like to get married one day.
Absolutely.
Okay. No more kids.
No.
Okay. Your person has to have a kid.
Absolutely.
Okay. Grown children or
it doesn't matter to me.
Is there an age bracket?
I don't want any toddlers.
No, the men.
Oh.
I hope not.
I don't want to do that. Like, that's a lot.
So is it like
the age? Yeah.
What's the youngest? We'll ask. Because I'm gonna tell you now, these 35-year-olds, they be looking like zaddies. I mean, that's what I hear.
It used to be 40.
Yeah.
And
how did that work out?
It didn't. So it's gonna be more like 45, 47.
So you think some of the 40-year-old men are not as mature as maybe like they used to be when we were much younger?
Yes, ma'am. I just feel like, so as women, we are always 10 years more advanced. Yeah. So if he's 40, chances are he's probably like 30.
Oh.
And I'm almost 50, so I don't know.
Oh my God. And you don't even look like it. And don't be telling people that.
Okay.
Because you don't. You don't look like it.
Say less.
All right, thank you. The chest ties on and off camera. But you are very trendy. Like, even your social media is very interesting. It's very. What was your social media again?
It's Alchemisha TV. Alchem.Isha TV.
Okay. So, where are you from?
I'm from Brooklyn.
Okay, but your background, you're.
Oh, my ethnicity?
Yeah, I just saw my ethnicity.
Let's fix this. Where you're from?
Right.
No. My ethnicity. So I am Panamanian.
Okay.
Both mother and father and sister. I am firstborn American.
Oh wow! Look at you.
Yeah, look at me.
Okay.
Afro-Latina.
Afro-Latina. Okay. So let's dig a little deeper. So I really have a lot to ask you about this whole HR thing, because I've been wanting to do a show with someone about HR that was in relation to HR for quite some time. Shout out to Trav in the back for all of our vocals and all of our visuals. Okay, y'all. So
turn your phone off.
Yeah, everybody silence your fucking phone. Okay. So it's probably gonna cut this out.
Okay.
So I have so many questions. So
Okay.
you and I have had conversations in the present and in the past about corporate America. So we're gonna talk about corporate America a little bit, and as it relates to women, and then as it relates to Black women and people that look like us. Okay. And so I've got to ask. So human resources. Why did you choose human resources out of all the police jobs? Like, really?
Well, human resources chose me.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair.
So let me do some clarification. So I am actually a corporate recruiter by trade,
yes.
and recruiting is an arm of HR, what people don't know, right? So it's really separate, and they're rivals.
Interesting.
And so when you go into a corporation, recruiting, has its own little thing because that's where they go and find the talent.
Yeah.
And then HR, honestly, your business partners, they're kind of like your police. They make sure that everything is in line, that, teams are working effectively. So there's always this power between, okay, how did you let this person in,
Oh, gosh.
But then when you go into bigger organizations, what you find is that HR then says, okay, we're going to be friends with you and you're going to be part of us. So that's how recruiting became part of HR.
Okay.
But they're actually two very different
You're right.
spaces.
Yeah, and you're right, because I know that for me, when I've been being a part of corporate America, your recruiter, it's almost like, great, you got the job, great, have a great life. Bye.
Right.
And you just never hear back from them, and you're just like, oh. And I've also noticed with recruitment, there seems to be a lot of turnover with recruiters opposed to actual like HR representatives for the company. Is that fair to say?
I think it's fair to say for several reasons. One, recruiting is one of those areas where a lot of us are utility players, right? So we can pretty much go wherever we want, and it's so much easier for us to move. Whereas with HR, they are the people managers, and they hold so much information.
Yes.
So the last thing you want to do is get rid of your HR person.
Yes. Okay, so that makes a lot of sense. So let's talk about human resources.
Let's talk about it.
Okay, so human resources is not on your side. That's what I truly believe. That's what a lot of people believe. Is that a true statement? Are they on the employee side?
They are.
Girl, drink up. Tell us the truth.
Well, actually, they are on the employee side.
When? I mean, I'm just asking for a friend.
So, HR, they have a responsibility to make sure that there's talent development, make sure that people get their promotions, right?
Yeah, what about when there are problems?
Well, they're the mediators.
So why does HR, because I'm going to get right into it, because I know you guys have all these questions, okay? And we've got the professional here, and I'm not letting her get past not answering these questions, y'all. So, and I got questions from some of my viewers, by the way.
Okay, go for it.
So in relation to HR, why do they always pretend to be so vested in protecting you, but quick to throw you under the bus?
Ooh. Woo.
I'll give you. Oh, it's okay, Aisha. Tell me, what did little Trav do? Did he touch you? Come on, let's go to lunch. And then you get so what happened?
Yeah. So, okay, inside secret. If you say that I said this, I'm going to say you're a liar.
Well, the camera will tell us.
Yeah, the camera. Okay. So
why don't you say allegedly and not based off of your experiences?
Right. Not based on, just to protect the innocent. So basically, HR does want to, their job is to make sure that people feel safe,
okay,
and that people are comfortable with telling their side of the story.
Okay.
So that part, I really believe that if they are truly, quality HR people with integrity, that's the goal. Okay, so the flip side to this, though.
Okay, come on.
All right, so the flip side to this is you don't know what type of conversations they're having with their
what
managers.
Are they having?
Oh, those kind of conversations.
What kind of conversations is HR having?
So, it could be a number of things. It could be, a situation where this employee, was behaving badly and they have a track record. It could just be so many things. So the whole idea is to massage the employee feel comfortable enough to share certain things.
I think she needs a shot, guys. All right, so
It's the truth. I'm telling you the truth.
But why do people? Okay, I'm gonna stay on track because I want to make sure that I answer. So, how does HR, human resources, deal with workplace harassment? When someone is saying, "Oh, this person's harassing me," and the other person saying, "No, I don't. We actually date on the low," and there's just not consistent communication. How does HR decipher what to do besides getting rid of everybody?
Right. No, that's a good question, and it's funny that you say that. I witnessed this. This is a true story, but I'm gonna save the names to protect the innocents. So basically, there's a lot of investigating that goes through that.
What is the investigating?
Like they would literally interview people.
Oh.
Yeah, they have conversations with multiple people to make sure that they have the right information.
So what if somebody is conspiring against, let's just say somebody says, you know what, I want to conspire against Alicia.
Yeah.
And it's all their friends that are around. They interview all those people. Isn't that very biased?
Well, they will interview other people as well. They won't just interview that.
And then there's always those people that are like, well, I'm just going to be very non-biased.
Right.
I didn't see him touch her butt, but I do know she wears short skirts. But that's all I know.
Right.
And they're like, check, one for Aisha, one for Alicia.
I think that's why a lot of those, situations, those investigations go on pretty long.
I think those investigations are bullshit. I'm just gonna say it.
Well, they're not all bullshit.
I'm gonna tell you, but it never works in the favor of the person that was being harassed. It always works against them, hands down. Like a woman says, "This guy touched me," and then all of his friends are around, get investigated, and then he keeps his job, and she has to now sit there like
I don't believe this is happening.
can't believe that he touched me, and I tried to tell, and all his work buddies that are in the freaking workplace pool for the lottery.
I will say this. I think it also depends on the caliber of the company, right? So you have these smaller companies. I'm gonna keep it 100.
Fair.
I've worked with some pretty large Fortune 500 companies, and certain things just won't fly, right? But then you have the smaller companies that are private, and they can kind of do whatever they want, right? Like their cousin, their uncles, their aunts, like everybody works there. So they probably get away with more stuff. But when you have a company that's really built on values and integrity, they will take an investigation, and it will last months to make sure that everyone feels protected. But again, it depends on who you know.
So I'm glad you said that, because my next question was, how do you get human resources to actually like you after you've dealt with... After you've had a run-in, because it seems like every time you have a run-in with HR,
that's it, right?
That's it, buddy.
There's no more chances.
You're done, because it's almost like you are now tarnished. Your name is in the book of HR, and when there's layoffs,
you're the first to go.
You're the first motherfucker to go. Okay. So how do you get off of HR's
shit list?
Tell us, because we all want to know.
Well, I will tell you this, ma'am. I don't know, because I think I'm on a few shit lists. I don't know how to get off the shit list, which brings me to my radical sabbatical. I think it's really difficult to navigate through HR as a brown woman. I think through corporate America, period, it's really difficult because there's a lot of microaggression. There's a lot of nepotism for the smaller companies. So, we don't really do well in those type of environments.
I want to get into that.
You want to get into it?
I want to get into that, but I have
time for a drink.
Okay,
sippy,
hello.
Sip time.
Sippy,
all right,
sip.
sippy sip.
Cheers.
Right.
Oh my God. Okay. What are inappropriate word phrases to avoid at work?
Oh, I ain't been to work in a minute. See, okay. So
what are some of the words, some of the phrases that will get your ass terminated on the spot? Because some of these viewers need to know, because people are very inappropriate nowadays.
I know. Stuff like y'all people and them.
That'll get you up out of there.
Y'all people will get you up out of there if you say, for some reason, like, you're not a culture fit.
Out of there.
Out of there. And again, this really just depends on the company, the size of the company.
That's fair, but some of these phrases will get you up out of there.
Get you, yeah.
So y'all people,
Y'all
okay,
people.
get you up out of there.
She's not a culture fit.
Okay.
Them.
Come on, give us the good
I'm
stuff.
trying to think. Like, there's so many. I feel like I've just
Sexual orientation.
been,
Will that get you up out of there? Or
yes,
will they get you in the office?
It'll get you in the office. It won't get you out of there. Because I think, like, right now with all these DEI initiatives,
pronouns
like,
and-
everyone's being super sensitive
yeah.
about it. So you can actually, like, make a mistake and they're going to kind of course correct
Yeah.
you before they, like, walk you out the door with security. You know what I mean?
Okay. So what about, how do you, so this is kind of like teeter-tottering. So what do you think from an HR standpoint, not yours specifically, but what do you think from an HR standpoint when it comes down to gender bathrooms in the workplace? What if there's a man that's not dressed as a woman that's going into a woman's bathroom, but that day he wants to identify as a woman?
Wow.
Is that okay? Because I'm going to say, hello, Billy, get your ass in the man's bathroom. And he's going to be like, no, I'm a woman today. Like, how does that work?
That's, you know what? I'm going to have to, like.
That needs to go to the VP.
Yeah, that's above my pay grade, baby. So I don't know. Like, I've never experienced that one. Thank goodness.
That is real
That's a really
life.
hard one.
This is like
Yeah.
some real Gen X,
Yeah.
millennial, baby boomer stuff that be happening.
The last company that I worked for had.
What's crazy is it's a person at my job that's identified as a transsexual, and they go in either one of the bathrooms.
I don't think that's
And when
fair.
they get ready to.
What?
If they really got to use it seems like if they really got to use the bathroom, they'll just go into the man bathroom.
Well, I do the same thing, and I'm not a.
I do the same thing.
You shouldn't be going in the man bathroom though, because if you go in there and the man got his dick out of the pen, then
No, it's okay for a woman to go into a. It's okay for a woman to go in a men's bathroom, but it's not okay for a man to go in a woman's bathroom. I think that there's something like that.
Yeah. Well, I don't know.
A woman could be like, man, he tried to show me his.
Well, you definitely gonna see something
You know what I'm saying?
if he's in the woman's bathroom and. I don't know if he sit down. I mean, listen, that I don't know what he does in his personal time, but
I think that's odd that person can go in either bathroom and you cannot say anything to.
So what happens, HR?
Yeah, honestly, that's like I said, that's above my pay grade. I've never experienced
so that becomes sketchy for people in HR.
I would say so. I would say it
because
is.
who are you to say you can't do that?
Yeah.
Because if they're identifying as, but I truly believe they should just have non-binary at the airport. They have the non-binary, like whatever, whoever, family, whatever.
Well, I
bathroom.
do know, like, so without, naming names, but my previous company, there were bathrooms that were both gender, but it wasn't a shared bathroom, which it worked because it's only one single toilet. So you can't share the space with someone. So whether it's, a woman, how do you say this? A her or him?
Ma'am, keep it cute.
I just don't know what to say.
It could be a little, at times, confusing. It's okay.
See, I didn't say neither because you just never know.
So anyway, it's a one room bathroom.
So they. Pronouns they. Okay.
They.
And so that's fair. Here we go. So, from an HR standpoint, what do you think? Not you, but what do you think that allegedly somebody in HR would tell that person that wants to use whatever bathroom? Do they just sit them down and say, "Hi"? I mean, I need to know.
Well, you know what? I need
this
to
is
know
real.
too.
Somebody else, she says, I need to know.
I
too.
need to know
Somebody
too.
tell-
No, only because I honestly have not experienced that.
I think that they would. So this is my HR non-HR certification hat. So I think the only right thing to do would be to sit them down and say, and please, LGBTQIA community, don't come at me. Okay? Plus, I said plus. So the right thing to do would be to bring them into office and ask them. There are some people that are having some concerns, and I would just like to know, how do you feel about? Fred said, "Nope, you're done. You're out of here too."
Yeah, no,
Because what do you identify? Because we need to make sure if we need to accommodate you and make sure that you are comfortable, then we will do that.
Yeah, I don't know. That's another drink. I don't know.
Honey, let's drink to that.
Gotta drink to that
Somebody
one, too,
knows,
because-
please comment and let us know.
Yeah, taking some requests from the comments.
Immediately.
From the request line.
Okay, so tell me this. We're going to parking lot that, and we're going to talk about that later. But I would like, not on the show, though, because we need some real professional help with that one. So what is a threat to human resources? What do you think is a threat?
Violence, like any type of office violence is definitely a threat to human
What's soft
resources.
office violence?
What's soft office violence?
Yeah, because there's soft violence.
Yeah. So probably
In the workplace.
There's a lot of soft violence, like using, social media antics.
Bullying.
Bullying.
Ooh.
That's soft. Microaggression.
Mm.
Those emails that you get where they start timing you.
Per usual.
Or no, I'm so confused.
Oh.
Because at this time, and then at this time, like when they start timing your
Oh,
stuff,
that's
very microaggressive, and that's that's
So
an
if someone's
HR
getting
issue.
those type of messages from their boss, it looks as though
It looks
you
as
know
though,
what it looked like.
Right. It looks as though I'm so confused.
But how would a person be so comfortable going to HR when they feel like HR is against them? Because it seems like the goal of HR is to protect the investment of the company, not the person, because the person's tangible.
Well, in a situation like that, I mean, my experience
There
is
we go.
my experience is that, HR would be a mediator in that part. Because at the end of the day, HR does want a harmonious staff.
Yes.
Because they do get, they get like scored on how well their teams perform together. Okay. So it's really not in their
who scores HR? Because it seems like HR is the president of the company. Because who gonna check me, boo? Is HR?
No. Well, everybody reports to somebody.
Okay.
So let's let that be known, right?
So is it a such thing as telling on HR?
Yes.
Who does the person that needed? Who do they need to tell?
There are like phone lines, like 800 lines where you can call and be anonymous and tell.
Friend, that's called the EEOC. Okay?
No. They actually have a phone line where you can call and share information.
They gonna have your ass up out of there so goddamn quick. Hi, can you come with us? We just wanted to take everybody to lunch, but you're the only person to go on to lunch, okay? Gather all your belongings and come with. All right, so what are trigger words that can cause someone to lose their job?
Oh, wow.
So they're in a meeting. I'm going to paint a picture. They're in a meeting, okay? It's about 12 people in a meeting, round table meeting. And they say something that is what we call career limiting move. It's called the CLM, okay? And so
that is hilarious.
Yes.
I don't know that there's words, but there's definitely, situations that you can't address that will get you walked out.
What are those situations?
Situations are like, if you make any comment about disability, someone's disability.
What if, people are very delicate nowadays?
You can't.
So somebody can say something like, well, I'm a diabetic and I got to go to lunch. And then somebody be like, you always want to eat. Is that insulting? I mean, is it? I'm driving it back laughing. I mean, that's real.
Unfortunately.
What if that person takes offense and they come in HR
and they absolutely could.
And they're like, Aisha, I was in a meeting and I said I needed to go take my insulin and I got to go to lunch because I got to take my insulin. I'm a diabetic. And then somebody says, oh, Trav in the back goes, oh, you're always eating. I took offense to that because I'm having weight issues. And you're just like, oh.
Well, wow. And it happens.
So how do you handle that? Because if I get pulled in and somebody then took something lightweight, and especially if they dish it, but they can't take it, because there's a lot of that.
Yeah. And I think that's when HR becomes a mediator.
And then what happens? How do you handle that? So what happens?
Yeah, they have a meeting and they talk about it. That's what they do. They meet.
And
they bring everybody into the room and they talk about it.
And they say, okay, so tell me what happened. And then you got to look like an idiot telling
and you got to tell
this
the story.
petty-ass story.
You got to tell the story. And then it's always, everything with a question.
Have you ever heard of a very petty situation? And how did you handle this? Because I would have been like not able to keep my cool. Like, is this a freaking joke?
Man, it's been so long. I'm actually feeling really good that I'm so removed from this type of crap. I was so removed. Like, if you would have asked me this maybe 5 years ago, I probably would have had tons of stories.
No, you have stories. We talked about this weekend.
So
a petty story. Somebody comes into HR, you're in the lunchroom having a meeting, dinner, lunch, whatever, with your colleagues, and they're like, bruh, this so-and-so person always comes in to complain about. Do they ever talk about that? Because I know they have roundtable talk.
they do have roundtable talk.
Do they ever talk about getting rid of somebody?
No.
Cap.
No, it's no caps. They have their own little secret society.
Oh, really?
Like, they're not going to talk about that in front of anybody.
That's
Yeah.
very
That's a rule.
interesting.
That's law.
Yeah,
They might even have hand signals or something.
Really? They be doing all
Like,
of this?
you know, and then that's how you know. But no,
I have a
no.
question.
But all jokes aside, like certain things, like they won't say.
Trav's had a question.
What you
I
got?
have a question about HR. When it comes to workplace violence, right?
Goddamn.
Why
I'm
is
a recruiter, for heaven's sake.
Okay, so you're not familiar with, so you're not the same kind of human resource.
She's
person.
the other HR.
So I'm the one that bring the people in. HR is the people that let the people go.
So you the person.
That's what I'm
Okay.
trying to find out. Why if somebody attacks me and I protect myself, why am I getting fired also?
Oh yeah,
You know?
man.
Why am I getting fired also? They just attacked me. I did what I had to do. Now both of us is talking about signing a statement. You know what I'm saying?
This sounds like a very personal,
Yeah.
delicate
Did
Did
something
situation.
happen
That's
to
how
you?
things happen,
Trav,
though.
tell me. You want to
He's
talk?
he's
You wanna-
right but that's true. So if
That's
somebody
true.
in the workplace attacks me and I defend myself, why are we both getting fired?
Yeah.
Would you agree? Like, would you tell your counterparts like, well, why is he getting fired for stabbing the guy because that guy attacked him?
Okay, so from an HR standpoint, what they look at is they don't know the relationships that the other person might have and the retaliatory. Like that person might want to come back and retaliate, so they have to remove the whole thing. You know what I mean?
Oh, they okay.
Think about it like that, right? So you protected yourself, but you're still in the building. And what if that person wants to come back to the building?
Then everybody else is at
Then
stake.
everyone, you know. So it's more of let's like get rid of the whole situation to protect everybody.
Okay. So let's talk a little about recruitment because everybody thinks they're so overqualified for a job. They're trying to get.
Like now we're in my face because those are the questions I was like, ooh, wait a minute, hold on.
So tell me this, friend. So tell me this. You get a person, you have a job that's posted. Okay. How many resumes do you go through in order to find the right one?
Jeez.
I mean, because I already know.
So on average, I mean, you have to probably go through like 20 just to get 5.
That's not bad.
That's a lot.
But
For
then-
someone that's reading resumes and on the phone, that's 20 calls. How many hours are you at the office?
Oh.
Yeah, you got to look at it like that.
So then what about so tell me, are people really finessers out here?
Yeah, they are finessers.
Professional
Professional finessers. And here's the thing, and I want to share this, is when people say that they have more experience than what the job description is asking for, they absolutely feel like they qualify.
Of course.
I'm here to tell you.
100%.
I'm here to tell you that's not how that works. If that job description says that they want 5 to 7 years, don't say that you have 20.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's a no.
So
That's a
is
no.
that's an immediate no? Do you feel like that's an immediate embellishment?
No, not necessarily an embellishment, but I think what people don't realize is that there is a reason why that job is requiring 5 to 7 years.
Right.
Right.
Because they don't want to pay your ass 20 years of service.
Right.
Okay.
I mean, because if you think about it, I mean, all of the job descriptions are tied to salary
And compensate. Yeah.
and compensation. So for every year of experience that you have, that compensation package must match that. And what people don't realize is that hiring managers have a budget. And if they have a budget of $200,000 for 2 roles, that means that
You ain't getting 179.
You're not getting 179 because they have 2 positions to fill, ma'am. So they
it's
want
always
someone. There's a lot that goes behind that, and
So it sounds like it's good to ask, how many roles do you have available?
absolutely. You want to know
So
how
you
many
can max. Oh, we need one person. Great. I'm about to max your ass out.
No, you can't do
okay.
that. You
Okay,
can't
don't do that, Trav.
You can't do that, and here's another reason why: is because you don't want to max out. Because when it's time for your merit, there's nothing left. then you're stuck.
Well, give me a cost of living increase. Give me something. Give me something.
Give me something. Yeah, so no, and that, that taps into people's bonuses and stuff, and it's like, yeah, no, they're not going to do that.
Okay, so let's talk about the people that are underqualified, but overqualified in their minds. Okay.
The ones that post for jobs that they want to aspire to be.
Yeah, right. They didn't graduate anywhere, but they want to be making six figures because they got to be living in a city, okay? And living in Lithonia is just not cutting it for their social life. So there's nothing wrong with Lithonia, okay? So tell me, how do you break the news to someone that's less qualified, underqualified for a role?
Yeah.
But they interviewed very well. But gosh, your confidence is so amazing.
Yeah.
You should take that and do something else with it because you ain't going to be working here. So what do you
You could never be a recruiter. No, do not ever.
I mean, I could be soft with it.
No, that was horrible.
Okay. So what do you tell a person that is underqualified?
Well, if they're underqualified, they probably won't get an interview.
But sometimes you don't know until you talk to them because that resume can be a mirror of a doctor's resume.
Well, no, I mean you have a phone screen with them and you know whether or not they have it. But I mean, I don't have a problem telling someone that they're looking for someone with more skills.
Okay, what has been your most outlandish, craziest phone scam? Phone.
Wait, let me think because there was so many.
Oh, look,
my
now
God.
she's got all the stories, right?
Yeah, the recruiting ones, I got them for you. Yeah, I've had someone post a resume. They posted for a job and it said that they were a full-time mother with 6 kids. That means they're a manager and they believe that they qualify for this manager job because they've been home, raising their kids, managing their families.
And I'm sure this wasn't at a daycare facility.
It was not a daycare facility, and it was funny, and it was real because, I mean, clearly you do have leadership skills, right?
Well, yeah,
but
you're a leader of your own company and your own children.
Right. So
that's really clever, though.
Yeah, it was very clever, and it's so funny that the person actually applied for multiple jobs. So, I think it was just a gag for the most part.
She had to see this damn resume come by.
You had to see it. It was hilarious. But I mean, people do it all the time.
Yeah, I got a problem with that because I've interviewed people for roles before because I know when I worked with my HR department in a previous role, I was like, I want to be hands-on. I want to see, give me all the resumes, let me look at them, and then you guys call them, and then let me screen them. And I'm a situational interviewer. Like, you're not getting ready to just have your own interview with me and tell me all this pre-recorded bullshit, okay? I need to know, tell me about a time. I'm the tell me about a timer.
Okay, gotcha.
Tell me about a time you faced adversity and you succumb to the adversity.
What'd you do?
What
happened?
How did you
what was the
handle
result?
That? They'd be like, oh gosh, one time, and I'd be like, nope, you're done. Or just the tell me about a time. That always works. So, any other interesting? Did you ever have one where somebody brought race into it? Like, is it because I'm black, or is it because I'm Latina?
No.
Okay, because that's come up for me.
Really?
Yeah. So I had this one gentleman. It wasn't bad. I had this one, and I actually ended up hiring him. Move my chair. So I ended up hiring this guy who's amazing. And so he was like, I was interviewing him, and I was the only, and we'll get to this, but I was the only black woman in the whole region. Okay? and so I was interviewing him, and in the interview he said, I will just tell you right now, I have no problem with working with you. We're for you. And he lived in Augusta, Georgia. And he was from Augusta, Georgia. And he told me, and we were in Texas. And he goes, so are you the hiring manager? And I was like, yes. And he was like, I would just tell you, I have no problem with working for you. And I was like, well, good to know.
Well, what made him say that?
I don't know. Maybe my big hair. I don't know. But I was just, so I thought about it. And I was just like, but he would always, yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am, me. And yes, boss lady. And I'd just be like, this is reversed. This is interesting. But he was a great guy, awesome guy. Surpassed expectations, all that fun stuff. But that was very interesting that he said that because it was like an innuendo. But I just took it for the positive. But I feel like I knew, right? But so let's talk about. Before we get into the
Let's get it. Oh.
Yeah, well, almost. So before we get into talking about people that look like us in the workplace and how we be behaving, I
Let's talk
wanted
about
to
it.
I wanted to ask, how does someone that has to be that okay? So I want to talk about dating in corporate America
Oh.
and dating your coworkers and conflicts and things of that sort. So interviewing people as being a recruiter, have you ever had somebody call you or interview for a role and they say, oh my God, my wife would be great for this role?
All the time.
And it's in the same department.
All the time.
And guess what? The wife may just very well be kick ass in the role. How do you deal with that?
So again, I think it really depends on the size of the company. If there is a married couple or any type of family member, they can't report to the same boss.
Oh, well, I've
So
seen that.
you've seen it?
I've seen it.
Well, see, that's what I'm saying. There's certain companies that get to do what they want to do. So it's hard for me to say because, I've only been in the Fortune 100. So we don't do that over there. But yeah, you can't, typically, they're not supposed to work for the same boss.
So let me tell you a situation. So there was a company and a very big billion-dollar company here in Atlanta, Georgia.
I think I know who
you know who it is. And so there was a husband and wife, or there were two coworkers that ended up getting married, and they were reporting to the same boss.
Oh, they got married after the fact.
No, they got married in that they were coworkers reporting to the same manager.
And then they got married.
And they were secretly dating, and then they got married. And so now they're reporting. So it got all the way to HR that they were married. And so one of them had to quit or find another job.
Okay, yeah.
So I feel like it was a ploy to get rid of somebody because the husband said, I will go ahead and I will look for another job. So this wonderful burly brother, 6'6" burly brother, could not find a job at all. He wouldn't get an interview for a job. So they gave them 90 days to figure it out, who's going to leave, and you got to go. But after 90 days, you won't have a job here, one of you. As if it were an issue.
Right.
And so he couldn't find a job, but he ended up leaving the company. And it was unfortunate because there were other people that actually worked in the company, but they were able to find jobs.
Oh, they were looking internally? Is that what it was? Oh, yeah, that was definitely a setup. For sure.
That sucks.
Yeah,
So,
that was pretty obvious.
That was obvious?
That was obvious.
Okay, and so let's get into people that look like us in corporate America.
Let's do it.
So I will tell you, there may be not things that you can say, but I can.
All right, well, I'm going to let you say it because, I got to go back to work one day.
So let's talk about women in corporate America.
Brown women or just women?
We're going to talk about women first, and we're going to trickle into us because we want to be very fair here with Let's Talk Over Cocktails with Carly, and I hope you guys like and subscribe because it's very interesting to see the dynamic. So let's talk about how women, I feel like in corporate America, women are very competitive. And it's almost, and black women are even more competitive. We'll get into that. But women are very competitive in corporate America. It's almost like they feel like, you have to submit if they're the leader. Do you feel that way?
Absolutely. I've seen it over and over and over and over again. And I think it's really sad too, especially when there's like no empathy, there's like a lack of respect almost. So everyone gets into these egos where, it's like, well, this is my title and this is what I want you to do and this is what you should do. And that's when that microaggression kicks in again.
Yeah, per my last.
Yeah.
It appears and just confirming.
It gets real catty.
Yeah.
And it's very demeaning.
Why do you think it's like that?
I think according to Aisha?
I want according to Aisha.
According to Aisha, I feel that for most of these women, they have no power and no identity at home, and they come to work, and that's where it is.
Oh, you got to
I
let
said
them
what
know.
I said.
Oh, hello. All right.
Period.
Okay. It's a little hot and heavy in here.
Yes. No, think about it. Think about the woman who's at home and she has her 3-4 children and her husband. They're running, they're doing so many domestic things. The only power that they have is when they walk into the office.
And so the other woman is the is the bait.
Yeah, she's going to receive all of that.
Wow.
I think it's really sad, but I honestly believe that that's a huge part of that.
So, and this is just women, period.
This is women, you know.
So let's talk about Black women in corporate America. Why are we so incredibly vicious towards each other? Well, would you agree that we can be vicious towards each other?
I think we can be. Not all the time. I'm starting to see a shift as of lately. But I think it's that competition again. I think that society puts us against each other and we fall for the bait.
Hello, every single time.
Every single time we fall for it.
Yeah.
And it's pretty sad because again, you know, not many of us have a seat at the table anyway.
Yeah.
You know, but right now, the brown girl is the most successful. We are the ones getting the most degrees. We're the ones knocking down the ceilings.
Yeah.
So now it's like crabs in a barrel now, right? So everyone's sitting at the table and it's like, okay, pick me. I want to be seen. I want to be seen. Yeah.
Pick Misha.
You know, so it's like you really have to kind of carry yourself in a way that, you know, that you're humble,
right?
But you're not being competitive. But then you always got her. You always got Keisha. You know, Keisha's so happy. You know,
what Keisha be doing?
Keisha happy. You know, again, Keisha is the one that doesn't have a life. Keisha she got the dog at home. She doesn't have any children. She doesn't have any man. She comes into the office and she's just like, you know, and it's like, my goodness, Keisha.
Keisha, can you get some man in your life? Some man meat?
Do you need some?
Keisha, you need some man meat.
Because you can always tell that woman that don't be getting the pound town. I don't want to be her, but I know that I can always tell. Cause, and you know what? Just in all fairness, because I don't want to have a beat down on the brown girl.
It's
but
all
I
talk.
do feel like we have a lot of things that we carry on a day-to-day basis, and there's not enough therapy. There's not enough forgiveness. There's not enough love outside of the office, and unfortunately, we take all that shit to work.
Yeah, come on, according to Aisha.
Come on, Aisha. Come on. That's what they pay me for.
Come on, let's talk about it.
That's what they pay me for.
Okay, so so I agree with you.
Yeah.
And not so much now in my career, but in my earlier days of my career, I dealt with a lot of women and women of color that made it difficult for me. Oh, your skirt's too short. Oh, you think you're this. Oh, why aren't you sitting down? Oh, why do you have to take a break? I'm on break. Like, can I go to the bathroom? Why are you up? How many breaks do you? Like, what difference does it make?
Yeah.
The work is getting done. Why are we like this?
Because we get pushed so much harder. Think about think about the brown woman who, made it to VP, director status.
Yeah.
She's getting so much crap up there.
She is.
She really is. Like, we don't even know that
Right.
she's sitting in a room with people that don't look like her, and that the light is on her. So what does she do? She goes back to her team and she's like, she got the whip out. She was like, and I think in their minds, they're not thinking about, let me be sensitive. They're like, we got to show up. We got to look good. I'm going to whip you into shape.
I think that's some, not all of them. Because I think that some of them are more so. Go ahead, friend.
I want to know.
I think that some of them are more so on this pedestal, and it's like, I'm going to go down. I'm going to whip them because of the level that they are at, opposed to the level that she is at. And that is the problem. What happens like in our community, where people get a little bit of money and then they want to look at you as though, you know, you're less than. And
you got a couple of those.
Yeah,
you got a couple. As a matter of fact, I got a story.
Oh, how about story time?
Story time. So I was super, super young. I don't even know if I was 30 yet. I was probably like 30, 32 the most. Okay. And I had a manager, and she was a sister, beautiful sister. And I didn't even realize that she wasn't that old. But at 32, when you're just starting, I think I was like an assistant at, can I say the company? No. Okay. So
that was the answer.
It was a big company, you
Okay.
know. But I was an assistant. And she was probably 10 years my senior. But at 30, 10 years is a big gap,
it's
right?
It's a huge difference.
Right, but now it wouldn't seem like anything.
Yeah.
But anyway, so, and she was an MBA. She went to Harvard. She was from Boston. I mean, like, she had all of the things. And I was just like, you know, like, oh, my God. And when I tell you that this woman was so mean to me, So mean for no reason. One time she asked me to come in her office, and I hope she sees this video one day.
What's that bitch name? No.
Yeah, she asked me to come into her office, and she was on her little device. It was those little. It was like a sidekick type of thing.
Yeah.
And she was on it the whole time, and it was our one-on-one. She never looked me in my eye. She was on this thing, and she asked me to take out all the red paper clips out of the paperclip box.
I would have quit. I think that's so demeaning.
Every time I think about that, I'm like, what was I? And I was so young that I did it. Yeah. And it wasn't until I got older, I was like, wow, she made me take out all the red paper clips.
But see, and she looked like you.
And she looked like me.
See, that's what I'm talking about. That is specifically what I'm talking about. And it's like, it's not all, but it is some.
So that was one of them. That was one of them, and I will never forget that.
And you see how long that has stuck with you.
It stuck with me.
We don't realize how much we tear into each other's core and really like ruin little parts of our self-esteem.
Yeah.
And although you are a whole new woman, you still have that story.
Yeah, I'm like, wow, that was because it just really sat with me. So while I didn't have a whole lot of those, but that one was really bad. And I remember thinking to myself, she has everything. She's single. She lived in Sandy Spring. I was living in Lithonia at the time.
Oh, you were in the one in Lithonia.
I was in the Lithonia. And I'm driving to this great big company over here for Wayuka. And she was living over there by Perimeter. She drove an Acura. Like, I just felt like she had everything.
You
in
looked
here.
up to her.
I did sort of, kind of, maybe. And we were the same zodiac sign.
You looked up to her, and it's okay. And this is why we have to be responsible as women of color. As women, but women of color, because we're women of color, we have to be responsible for how we treat each other. Because we just don't know at what point a person's going to think about that or what imprint it's going to leave in their life. I had a situation too. Oh my God!
Please tell.
It was so bad. I worked at this company, and this sister, she was young. She was only a couple years older than I was, so she was young and she was trendy, and she was just happy to be a senior manager. I'll never forget her. I'll never forget. And so, and her name is Ayana, and so
okay.
And so I remember I would cry. She would take me into the office, pull me into I was a single mom. Like, I had this little kid that I have to be responsible for. And I'm, just trying to make it. I didn't make a lot of money at that time. And so I think it was like $55,000, which is not a lot of money when you're a single mom. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And she would pull me into offices with paper, and I'd be like, oh my God, am I about to get fired? What did I do? And it would draw so much anxiety into me. And it was like she enjoyed watching me squirm and watching the tears come out of my eyes, and me just, well, what did I do? And it was like, well, you took a break at this time and you took a break at that time. And I was just like, I just needed to get up. Like, I was never the person that could just sit at my desk and just answer phones through in and throughout.
Okay.
Like, I would be the person that will talk on my way to the bathroom on my break.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I'm so shocked.
Right.
Look.
And so I remember one time they tried to write me up. She pulled the senior manager in and the boss and tried to write me up. And I was like, well, what is this write-up about? And it was literally about nothing. They had no grounds. And I was so proud of myself that I was just like, please explain it to me. Like, I don't understand and it was constantly that. And it was so hurtful. I remember one day I just cried and I was like, I can't do this. Like, this woman is creating anxiety in me.
Yeah.
So fast forward, I ended up upgrading in my life. Okay. And I ended up getting a leadership role with another company where I was a regional over the Southeast. And she worked in a lower role.
Look at God. Look at God.
I mean, I'm just saying. And so I remember sitting with one of the owners of this establishment, and they had her working there. And me and this owner was chummy. We talked, we laughed. And so this person's name, Ayana, came running across the screen. And I was like, this is 8-9 years later.
I love it.
And I'm like, let me see that name. And I was like, huh.
Well, look at here.
I said, well, look, that is so crazy. I said, I know this person. And she says, oh, yeah. I said, did she work at this company? And she goes, oh, yeah. She's not, And she kind of didn't have, like, the most warm things to say. And I was like, can I tell you a story?
And then
And I said, I'm going to be honest with you. I said, she used to make me cry when I worked at this job. And she used to really...
Wow.
And she said, are you serious? And I said, yeah. She goes, that's funny because she kind of does the same thing with one of the other girls I heard, that. And so she continues
She's
fucking with people and hurting people throughout their career. And I said, I said, well, I'm glad you hired her because I'd never hire her.
Wow.
And she said, And I will kid you not, she did not work there months later. After.
Yeah,
and I wouldn't want to say that I got this girl fired because I wouldn't, but she wasn't doing the right, like there was already.
No, she did that.
But just know and you see, yes, look at God, number one, but also look at like karma, look at spirit, like look how that stuff comes back to you.
Yeah.
And to this day, I'm in more so leadership roles than her.
Right.
And it's like.
Why?
I mean, I worked hard to get there, but it's like, you can't destroy people along the way.
Like, that doesn't work.
You have to, and this goes back to what I said, you have to be physically responsible
for
your power. We talk about this.
Right.
You have to be responsible for your power. You have to be responsible for how you treat people.
You can use it for good or you can use it for bad.
But
when you're in leadership, you need to be a servant leader.
Right.
Period.
And so, I couldn't believe it. Right?
Friend.
I know.
Friend.
Yeah. Well, watch my mic, girl.
Okay.
Go ahead.
No, because these are the things that brown girls experience all the time.
It was hell.
And it's really bad.
I would go home crying. It was terrible because I didn't belong in that space. But instead of them putting me in spaces that will allow me to flourish, it was like they wanted to keep me there and teach me a lesson.
Yeah.
So we've got to learn to stop teaching each other lessons, sit down and talk to a person and see, what are you good at?
Right.
Oh, you're good at processes.
So let's do that.
Let's put you in processes.
Right.
Because
there's different ways to teach lessons.
There's different ways of teaching lessons, and because these become lifelong lessons.
Right. And it's just not fair.
You just never know who you may, kind of 360 back in life with. You just never know.
So give me a chance to plug something. So in 2020, I was part of an anthology called Shut 'Em Down.
Shut 'em down.
Shut 'em down. Racism in Corporate America. It was me and 19 women, and we told our stories. I'm chapter 7. And we talked about all of these different indignities that we faced in the corporate office. So I agree with you. I think when we get to a certain place, and mind you, when these things happen to us, it is a character growth.
Yes.
Because like you and I, the boss up was so real.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like I'm
so real.
It's realer than real.
Yes.
Because here it was, at 30 years old, GED, married, 2 kids, look at me now.
Hello.
Look at me now, baby.
Fine and fabulous.
Okay.
Fine and fabulous.
It's kind of like now I know because of the way she treated me that I would never treat anyone like that. So so sometimes God will use people in a different way to change your heart.
They do.
And that's all we can do, really.
Yeah. And if I ever see this person, I wouldn't treat her any kind of way because I've already been blessed tenfold.
Yeah.
But it's a story. And maybe she doesn't behave this way anymore.
I doubt it, but
Hello. But it's just one of those things where it's just kind of like
it was for you.
It was for me.
It was for you.
And so. I've gotten the ladder where I had, a role that I was hired for to be in a higher role, but they said, well, let's start you here. Don't ever do that. Don't do that. I don't believe in we're going to start you at the receptionist and you're going to work your way up from the fries to the lettuce. No, it doesn't work because the budgets will never allow you to jump pay grades that significant.
That part, it's a setup.
It's a setup. So I was set up. And so, but I went with this company and I was told, you're going to be a VP. And I was like, okay, great. But we need you to start here to understand our operations. Okay, that's fair. That sounds legitimate, right? Mm-hmm. And COVID happened and some other stuff happened. And then they were just like, can you just be, I got a call from my EVP and he said, hey, I need you to just do me a favor. It was on a Friday at 8:00 in the morning. And I was like, what do you want? And he said, I just need you to be Billy's shoulder and just teach him everything that you know. But we're gonna move him into the role, and we just need you to just show him and teach him everything.
Ooh.
I said, I'm sorry, I have 20 years experience. This boy don't even know what he doing. And so at that moment, I cried, and I was like, I can't believe this shit. They done got me again. But I said, you know what? I prayed about it, and I became an entrepreneur. And so I did that job, and I started my candle company, and I was just like, no way will I ever commit 100% and allow myself to be in that space. So I say this to say, always have a side hustle, okay? Something legitimate.
Right.
But grow yourself and don't put all of your eggs in one basket, because guess what? They don't. Those VPs, those presidents,
they have other things going on.
They have other companies that they invest in.
Yeah.
They have other companies that they are involved in, other, whatever that they, So I'm saying all that to say is to believe in yourself and to have other hustles. Definitely, most definitely stand up for yourself in the right way and know how to do it.
And take those things that happen to you as a lesson and boss up from it.
Yes.
I think, it's never a loss. It's always a lesson.
Yes.
It's an L, but it depends on which L you want to take.
Hello. I love that. And on that note. Thank you so much for coming. I appreciate you. I love you. I
Thank
think
you for
phenomenal.
having me.
Of course. And let everybody know where they can find you.
Okay, you can find me just about everywhere.
Let them know right over there.
So let's just start, right, with Honest Tea with According to Aisha on YouTube. That's one, very important, June 7th. Please catch the first episode. And then you can also find me on Instagram at alchemesha.tv. Oh, I said that wrong. Alchem.isha.tv. And at according.to.aisha on Instagram. So both pages you can find me there. And then for some unadulterated fun, you can find me on TikTok at According to Aisha. If you want to curse and act up, that's where you go.
Your TikTok is freaking
the TikTok,
hilarious.
that's where you want to go, okay? It's uncurated, just a bunch of shit. Just go there.
And I am Cocktails with Carly. Thank you so much for watching, you guys. I appreciate your likes, your follows, your subscribes, your comments. You can find me on Instagram at Cocktails with Carly _. You can also find the show page, which is Let's Talk Over Cocktails on Instagram. And of course, on YouTube, you can find us at Let's Talk Over Cocktails with Carly.
And let's get the fruit flies out of here.
We're getting it together. So on YouTube, we are Let's Talk Over Cocktails with Carly. Definitely like and subscribe. Shout out to my team. And thank you for watching. And guess what? Protect your soul. We'll talk later. See y'all later. Bye.
See y'all later. Cocktails. Come on. Cocktail. All right.